Hey guys, today I'm partnering with one of my all-time favorite brands, and that is Sigma Beauty, because we have a very exciting announcement to share with my fellow Australians, and that is that Sigma Beauty products are now officially available at SEPHORA Australia. I'm so excited, the day has finally arrived. I've been a customer of theirs for nearly 7 years. It's been over 6 years, and I've just been patiently waiting, and the day is finally here. So as much as I personally don't mind doing online shopping from international retailers, I think it's nice to have the option to go in store and physically like touch and see and look at the products before you spend your hard-earned money on them. So if you guys are like that and you want to see these in the flesh at SEPHORA Australian retailers, you can definitely check the description box. There will be a link down there where you can search if your local retailer will be stocking them. And then for my international fam, you guys don't have to fear. You can still get your hands on Sigma Beauty products. They have their own website where they ship worldwide from, and I actually have a discount code that you guys can use on there. So I'll link that in the description box. Everyone can access it. It's just that some people unfortunately don't have it in store. Now us Aussies do though. What? So excited. So today I'm going to go through and do like my full face of makeup, but I'm going to focus on my favorite Sigma brushes, the ones I can't live without, that are just a must have in my collection, and like why I like them, how I use them, and just go through each application method. Their brushes, they're so good, guys. There's a reason why I stan them, and there's a reason why these are the only brushes I recommend and use across all of my social media. One, I've been using them since way before I ever started social media, and I love them before I ever started a YouTube channel. Two, they're vegan, they're cruelty-free, they're synthetic fibers, they are just such good quality. I've never had shedding, I've never had a ferrule detach, a handle detach, nothing, not a thing. And then if that isn't like reassurance enough, they actually have 2-year free warranty on their brushes and their brush cleaning gadgets. So like if anything did happen, which I don't think it would, because literally I own now hundreds, I've never had a single problem. And then same with their brush cleaning gadgets. I've now had their brush cleaning products in my collection for nearly 4 years. Never had a single issue. They're just so amazing. And then also another thing too, their brush cleaning soaps, so their Sigmagic brush shampoos are actually made with 100% natural ingredients. You guys know I have a genetic eye disease, so I have to be very careful what sort of chemically based products I put around my eyes, because, ouch, I need to hit my elbow, because I have very sensitive eyes, and things like heavily fragranced products and really like harsh chemical based products can really irritate my eyes. I don't have any problems with this at all. It doesn't leave like a bad lingering smell on the brushes or anything. It deep cleans them. Incredible. They also have some fire cosmetics too. If you guys haven't checked out their cosmetics, definitely do. They're releasing new things all the time, and they have some goodies. So I'll show you my favorite makeup products throughout the video too. So yeah, I think we should just get in to the actual video now. All right. Let's put my headband on, get my hair out of my face because I can't function when my hair is in my face. And also please ignore the bright red tip of my nose. It's infected or something. It happens all the time actually. But I'm just going to quickly prime, and I'm just using my Too Faced Hangover Primer. So my first must-have brush is a kabuki brush from Sigma. I actually like all of them. They have lots of different types. I think they might have like 8 different kabukis, I'm not too sure. But they've got heaps of different types, but an absolute staple and always one that is just a great recommendation for anyone is just a traditional flat top kabuki. This is an F80 kabuki brush by Sigma, and as you guys can see, it has the copper handle. It's really nice in the copper. They also come in silver too. But this is just a great standard foundation brush. I find using a brush will always make my foundation more full coverage, and what I like to do is either dispense my foundation on a compact and then dip the brush in, or I just simply put the foundation straight on the brush and I pat it straight onto my skin. A lot of people used to always suggest buffing your foundation into the skin, which is like blending it in circular motions. You could definitely do that. I just find, because I have a little bit of peach fuzz on my face and a little bit of facial hair, that patting it into the skin just means the hair is laid nice and flat on my face. So if you you buff it and you have facial hair, it can just make your foundation look a little bit cakey, and it can really cling to the facial hair and stand out. So I really like the flat top kabuki for just patting it straight flat into the skin. I just feel like it gives you super full coverage, really flawless application, and it's just an incredible staple foundation brush that like anyone can use. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out. It's perfect. You'll have to ignore as well, my neck is really tanned, my hands are not, and my face isn't, because I don't tan my face, and then because I wash my hands all the time because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, the tan comes off my hands like 10 times quicker, so just ignore that. So there we have it, looking a little bit more flawless thanks to my foundation and of course my F80 Kabuki. So next up we're going to move on to concealer, and I have to get my sponge because I've got to wet it, and you guys, the Sigma sponges, the 3D HD blenders, are like the best sponge on the market. I'm not even exaggerating. So from memory, I actually did a full review on these. The reason they are so great is because of the shapes. They come in black and pink, and as you guys can see, they taper to like a really crazy defined point, but it is literally like the best thing for applying your concealer around your inner corners. The shapes are incredible for baking because they've got all these beautiful like angles and clean lines. So like when you're applying a bake, you can literally just go zhunk across under your contour. You don't have to worry about using a huge sponge around your inner corners. So let's say you do your eye makeup first, you can still use a sponge to blend out your concealer because the point gets this like right up in your inner corner and under your eyes so precisely. It is honestly incredible. So I'm just using some of my Too Faced Super Coverage Concealer under my eyes in the shade Vanilla. So I personally like to use sponges over brushes to apply my under eye concealer. I don't like necessarily think I have like dry under eyes. I just find if I use a brush, it feels a little bit dry. So this just kind of adds that little bit of hydration under your eyes because it's a damp sponge. So love the 3D HD blenders so much. So next up, we're going to set our face, and I use two different brushes for setting my face. I use the large F30 powder brush to set all over my face, and then I use the large tapered highlighter F35 brush to set under my eyes and like around my nose. Now this particular brush you can also use for cheekbone highlight. I personally use a different brush for cheekbone highlight, but this I just think for under your eyes is the most perfect tulip shape. So it just gets in there like so perfectly, and I love it. Can't live without it. It's one of my like absolute favorite brushes. So I'm just going to use my Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder, and I'm just going to dump some of this powder in the lid. So I'll start by just picking up a little bit of it on my F35 brush, just like so, and tapping off the excess, and I'm just going to dust it under my eyes. So I guess I sort of pat, then dust. And also in between my brows. And then for the rest of my face, I just take my F30 large powder brush, and I literally just dab it straight into the actual powder, like so, and then I just dust it all over the rest of my face. It's really nice because it's a really nice large fluffy brush, so it's just perfect for setting your face. So next up is one of my favorite parts, and that is contouring. I kind of do like a hybrid between contour and bronzer, so I don't necessarily contour really harshly, and I don't really just bronze my face up either. I go in and I use my F05 small contour brush just because it's the most perfect size to get in around under your cheekbones, and I use this for powders, and if I was using liquids I would use its sister, and that is the F04 Extreme Structure Contour Brush. So I use that for liquids and I use this for powders. I find if I use my F10 brush for my bronzer, it's just like a little bit too fanned out because my face is like, I've got a smaller face. So this is just perfect because I can pat my contouring powders in around my cheekbones, and it gets really nice and precise, but it's also like a great size to get around my hairline, around my jawline, and just my entire face pretty much. So I am actually going to use the Sigma Sculpt Highlight and Contour palette for this. This is a fabulous palette, guys. It's really gorgeous packaging as well. It's just like a nice cardboard packaged palette, and as you guys can see, it's got like a really beautiful like chrome reflect. And then as you open it up, you guys can see there you have all of those beautiful contouring shades, and you also have some highlight shades as well. So you can see the shades are on the back too there. So I am going to be using the shade Faking It, which is this one here. It's this really nice cool tone shade. It is very pigmented, so you don't need a heap of product. So I'm just going to tap in once or twice into the actual product, just tap off the excess, and I literally like pat the powders into the skin. I don't buff. I pat everything that goes on my face except for like blush and highlight. Nice and chiseled, girl. I find when I use this brush, I don't need to bake under my contour to define it either, because this brush just defines it itself. So next up, I'm going to apply my blush, and without fail, I always use my F10 blush brush. So this is kind of similar to the contour brush, but as you guys can see, it is much bigger. It is much more like flexible, so the bristles are longer, so there's a lot more movement in the actual bristles, which is perfect for dispersing blush across your cheeks. And I'm going to use another one of my favorite products, and that is the Sigma blush palette. It's the same packaging as the contour palette, but in pink, and it's just so pretty, and it has lots of beautiful blush shades in it, and it also has a highlight as well. So these are the blush shades. I think I'm going to go in with this one here, which is called Tiger Lily. It's a really beautiful like orange apricot blush shade, and it has some iridescence to it. Personally, I like blushes that have iridescence. So they also have some matte blushes as well, and these are great for like all complexions from light, fair to dark. So that's always good. They're super inclusive, good for makeup artists too. So when it comes to blush, I just dip into the actual blush and I just blend it on the apples of my cheek in circular motions, and I blend it into my contour. I think it's nice to use a less precise brush for blush, just because it makes it look much more natural when it's just like really beautifully blended across the cheeks. So next up, we're going to go back into the Contour Sculpt palette, and I'm going to use a highlight shade out of this one, which is, it's a really beautiful like champagne gold color. Literally my favorite type of highlight shade is this sort of color here, and this one is called Shine On. So I'm going to be using my absolute favorite highlighting brush, which is the F03 High Cheekbone Highlighter Brush, and it is just the most perfect shape and size to really blend highlight across your cheekbones. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It just literally sits on the top of your cheekbones like so effortlessly. It's just incredible. So I'm going to dunk straight into that highlight, and this highlight, she's shiny. She's so beautiful. It's like a wet looking highlight. Ooh, yes. I freaking love this highlight. And just the brush, it just blends across your cheekbones so perfectly, and it's nice to sort of zhuzh up around your brow. Like, could you ask for anything more in a highlight brush, honestly? And could you ask for anything more in a highlight shade? Like, I'm literally glowing to the gods. Glowing. So I'm going to quickly jump off camera and do my brows. I don't use a brush for brows. I do have brow brushes, like angled brushes and everything, but I use the pencil, so I don't need to use a brush for them. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with the brows. They're looking very bold, but I love a good bold brow. So next up, we're going to move on to eyes. Now, I typically always prime my lids with an eyeshadow primer, and I just use whatever really. And then I just use a P86 tapered precision brush to apply it. So this is just like, it's a really dense brush, and I get oily eyelids. That's why I prime them. I find if I don't, I get really bad creasing on them. And once I have that down, I just take my F35 brush again, and I just dust some powder over that primer as well, just to set it in place. And then next up, we're moving on to eyes, and my favorite eyeshadow palette from Sigma is their Warm Neutrals Volume 2 palette, and I just really love the browns and the copper shade in this palette. I've used it a lot actually. So I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is Toasty, and I'm going to just blend that all throughout my crease and over my lid. Then I'll brush a little bit of this shade here, which is Bittersweet, the copper color, just over my lid for like a really nice soft brown, coppery, smoky eye. And when it comes to blending eyeshadow, I literally only need one blending brush, just one blending brush, and that is the E25 blending brush. So what I do is I keep several of these in my collections. When I do like really dramatic eye makeup, I typically use 3 to 4 of these particular brush, just this one style. and I just use this one brush to blend all my shadows. It is the most perfect size because I find it is tapered enough to do really specific blending, but it's big enough that you can blend your shadows right up to your eyebrow if that's how far you want to blend them. If you want just like a really nice big fluffy brush to just diffuse color all over the lid just really nice and evenly and quickly, you can use an E40 brush. As you guys can see, it is considerably bigger, but I honestly, all I need is several of the E25s and I'm good to go. I find too the best way to apply eyeshadows is to tap into the actual shadow, pat it on the spot you want, and then blend. Instead of going in like traditionally people used to say you tap in the shadow and you just go straight in and blend. I disagree. I think it's good to pat, then blend. I think you get the best pigmentation and I think you get the most accurate placement as well, and it's just, yeah, the easiest way to apply shadow in my opinion. And then I'm just going to take an E55 eye shading brush, which is like the most perfect brush to use for lid colors of any kind. It's just a really great shape. It picks up a lot of pigmentation and it just applies beautifully over the lid. So I'm just going to tap straight in to that beautiful copper shade. It is such a pretty color. And this brush just like picks up such a nice amount of pigment, and I'm just going to blend it straight over my lid. Then as for my lower lash line, I'm going to take that same shade I have all over my lid, but I'm using an E30 pencil brush. This is just great to really specifically blend shadows across your lower lash line. I also like it for applying inner corner highlight as long as it's clean, but I do also have a really good brush for inner corner highlight, which I'll show you guys. But I'm just going to take that shade Toasty and just blend it all along my lower lash line. Just really smoke it out. Now, as I was saying, I have a really good brush for an inner corner highlight. This is the E46 shader inner corner brush, so it is specifically made for inner corner highlight, and it's genius. As you guys can see, it's teeny tiny, and I'm going to use the same highlight I used on my cheekbone, on my inner corner, and on my brow bone, and this brush just gets on the inner corner and on the brow bone so beautifully and specifically. It's a really nice flat brush, so it just picks up like ample product and places it so nicely in those little fiddly areas. Gorgeous. And then for my brow bone, same brush. So I'm just going to quickly jump off camera, pop on some liner and lashes, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I've got the rest of those products on my face. I just have the Quick Flick liner, I have some Ardell Glamour Wispies, I think they're 113 lashes, and I just have MAC Honey Love on my lips. And I just wanted to quickly touch on a couple of brushes that I didn't get to use today but are holy grails for me for cut creases, because as you guys know, I do a lot of cut creases here on my channel, and there are 3 brushes I have to have when I'm doing those cut creases. And the first is the Concealer F70 brush. This is just perfect for dispersing the concealer across the main part of my lid, and it's just like a really great little packing brush, so it just pats it down nicely. It's nice and defined, so you can get quite a smooth sharp line with it. But when I'm really perfecting the tiny detail of the super sharp lines in my cut crease, I actually like to use a precision lip brush, and this is an L06 brush. So this is actually a lip liner brush, but it is perfect for just really getting a super detailed precise line across your lid. So when I'm really doing the final stages of my cut crease, so I'll start off with this and I'll blend like the main part of the concealer out, then I'll get the little lip brush and I'll just like really do a super clean, sharp, thin line to just really enhance that cut crease. And then last but certainly not least is the E21 shader brush. So this is a really beautiful, tiny, defined brush, and I just find this is perfect if I need to go back in with a shadow and deepen it up between like the concealer and the actual shadow line, and it just really can help deepen up and really emphasize that cut crease. So they are my 3 must-have brushes when I'm doing my cut crease eye looks. I can't live without them. They are perfect. So that is all of my favorite brushes in summary. I hope that was helpful and you guys got a little bit more of an in-depth look at what brushes I love and why I love them. If I could ever do like a Hannah Schroder ultimate favorites brush set, these would be the brushes in that set. These are the brushes I cannot live without, that I need to do my makeup when I travel. These are what I bring with me. They're just my go-to literally every time I ever do my makeup. this is what I use. They are the greatest. So I'll make sure they're all listed in the description box for you guys and linked as well. So if you're interested in checking any of them out, there'll be a nice little list that you can copy and paste down there. If you want to go in store and look at any of them in person, you'll see the numbers and everything in the description box. So next up, obviously, like, it's great having amazing brushes, but you've got to look after those amazing brushes. So I wanted to quickly just touch on, sorry, that's noisy, on my favorite brush cleaning gadgets. Now these are new ones that Sigma was very kind to send me, so I'll show you the new clean ones. So when I want to do like a little express cleaning, like let's say I'm not cleaning all my face brushes, but I need to clean some of my eyeshadow brushes, because I play with a lot of really bright shadows, so typically I have to obviously wash my eyeshadow brushes like after every use. I like to use the actual Sigmagic Brush Soap Solid. I've actually gone through 3 of these already. I really like them. So that's what it looks like. And then you take the lid, oh, the little instructions, sorry. Then you take the lid off, and this is the inside of the soap. So as you guys can see, it has those little silicone perforator bits that just really help get into your bristles. And then on the back, it has little sticky suction cups so you can stick it onto your sink. And then when I'm really deep cleaning my brushes, there's 2 options I like to choose from, and that is either the brush cleaning mat, which is another like little silicone mat that sits in your sink, and it has like little suction cups and everything. I have one of these already in my bathroom, but it's nice to have a new one to show you because my other one's really old and dirty. I've had it for years. Actually, I think I've had it for like 4 years, so it's kind of feral with all the soap residue, so I'll show you the new one. So they are these silicone mats, and it just literally sits inside of your sink, and you can use just the Sigmagic brush shampoos in conjunction with it. And it's really great when you're doing bulk brush cleaning because you've got different perforated areas on each of the sections of the mat for different brushes. So there you go, you can see in the picture there how you sit it in your sink. And as I was saying in the intro, the brush cleaning gadgets also have their 2-year warranty. Then next up, this is such a good little gadget. This is the Sigma Dry and Shape Spa. I actually have a first impressions on this, which I'll link in the description box for you guys, and it is so good. So it's like a 3-in-1 gadget. So you have a little cylinder that you use to actually clean your brushes, and then it has a stand to leave your brushes in to dry. Sometimes cleaning your brushes and just leaving them out to dry can just make such a mess. So this is just perfect because it keeps it all in one spot. So when you're washing your brushes, you simply detach the bottom and the top, and you just use this actual little barrel bit, and you hold it in your hand under running water to wash your brushes. And then when you're finished washing all your brushes and you want to dry them, all you do is you reattach the base and the top, and then once you're finished washing them all and you've attached everything back in place, you just simply slide the wet brush back up into the little brush holder. And these little bands actually help to keep the bristles in their shape, and it also helps to get any of the excess water out of the bristles too. And then you can just sit this on your vanity while it dries, or in just like a safe place. These are really good, especially if like you live with other people, or if like you live at home with your family still. Like your family doesn't want you to leave your dirty or wet makeup brushes laying out on the table or everywhere around your house. So this is great because it keeps it all in one little compact location, and you just pop it somewhere safe and it'll be fine. So this is what it looks like when it's fully loaded up. As you guys can see, you have all your larger face brushes on the outside, and you have all your eye brushes and smaller brushes that clip into the actual inside of the barrel. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer, but if you're going to invest in quality, amazing makeup brushes, you want to make sure you're looking after them, so it's only appropriate to invest in quality brush cleaning gadgets as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found it helpful seeing like all my favorite brushes, gadgets, and some of my favorite cosmetics from Sigma. Be sure to check the description box and find out if your local Australian Sephora is stocking their products, and give them a look when you're in there, because honestly, like, guys, once you try their brushes, you'll be obsessed. It is such great quality. So thank you so very much for watching to the very end if you made it this far. I'd love to know in the comment section, do you want to try Sigma brushes? Do you have them? What do you think? Do you like the look of the gadgets? Did you like the look of the blush and contour palettes? Because holy moly, I think these are just so beautiful. I'd love to know what you guys think. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll be talking to you guys in the comment section and in my next video. Bye!